Everybody with Angela Williamson is made possible by Fireheart Entertainment and viewers like you. Thank you.
It affects millions, yet it's rarely talked about openly. Hair loss. It can impact everything from self-esteem to how we face the world. Tonight, we sit down with a nationally recognized cosmetic surgeon who not only understands the problem, but has dedicated his career to finding solutions. I'm so happy you're joining us.
From Los Angeles, this is KLCS PBS. Welcome to Everybody with Angela Williamson, an innovation, arts, education, and public affairs program. Everybody with Angela Williamson is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. And now your host, Dr. Angela Williamson.
Dr. Robert Setari is our guest. Dr. Robert, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. I'm delighted.
Well, we talked about in our open about hair loss and the journey to help us get through something that's really painful to talk about. But before we get to hair loss, I want our audience to get to know you, because it's your personal journey is the reason why you developed this new tool that we can use, right?
Yes, actually, it is what started it all.
Yes.
Typical, most guys, eventually start losing their hair, start thinning their hair. Around 30, 31, I started noticing some hair loss. And there wasn't much available in those days except for the over-the-counter minoxidil, and that was about it, really, back in those days. And the early 90s, and that's pretty much worthless, to be honest with you. It doesn't really do much of anything. And I started researching to see what was available, and I was at a conference at Johns Hopkins.
Okay. And
it was a conference for prostate issues. And the professor started talking about how this wonderful drug called Proscar, which is 5 milligram finasteride, works by blocking the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, and that's how it stops the growth of prostate.
Okay.
So in the back of the room is a student. I quickly raised my hand and I said, wait, if this works by blocking the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, and we know that the main culprit for hair loss is dihydrotestosterone, shouldn't this help with hair loss? And the guy on stage, the professor on stage, said, I don't really know. It's a good question, I don't know. So I call up the company and I said, do you guys know if there's a side effect with this drug, that it helps with hair loss? And they said, well, we have some studies and we'll send you what we have. And they sent me this thick packet like this with the very first cover letter being, we can't, of course FDA said, we cannot recommend any of this, but here are our macaque monkey studies.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So they showed that with the macaque monkeys, there was incredible hair regrowth.
Oh my goodness, okay.
So this was around 1993, and so I said, wow, this is incredible. This drug grows hair like crazy. And so I took the drug and I went to a compounding pharmacy and I said, can you make me 1.2 milligram capsules of finasteride? And I started using it on myself, and my hair grew back like crazy.
So you were a test subject, like
number one, patient zero.
Patient zero.
And I said, this is fantastic. And I started using it on myself and family members and patients, and everybody loved it. And about a half decade later, Propecia at 1 milligram got FDA approved. So I was about 5 years ahead of the curve.
And that drug that was approved, and that's for
hair loss.
That's for hair loss.
Yes.
But you were already testing it before.
About half a decade ahead, yeah. About 5 years ahead of the curve.
Well, what makes this medication different from the topical medication that we see that you can just buy?
Well, minoxidil, as I said, that's the topical.
That's the topical, thank you.
It's worthless. It doesn't really do much.
It doesn't.
So fast forward about 10, 15 years or so, or more, I mean, almost 20 years. And I still kept working on hair loss, and other drugs came out. And I kept looking at these drugs and what they did. And around 2008-9, I saw other medications that had the side effects where they grew hair like crazy. And I started saying, why are we not using these medicines for their side effects, to grow hair, rather than for their main effects, whatever they may be? And sure enough, another one of these drugs got FDA approved for growing your eyelashes.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Latisse.
Yes, a lot of my female friends, we love that one.
Right. In 2003-4, I said, why are we not using this Lumigan for glaucoma, which grows your lashes like crazy? Why are we not using it on your scalp to grow your hair? And in 2008, Latisse came out for your eyelashes. And I was, again, about 4 years ahead of the curve on that. And I started putting together my H.A.R.E formula, H.A.R.E, Hair Accelerated Regrowth.
Thank you.
H.A.R.E.
Accelerated regrowth, okay.
And I'm not one to pussyfoot around with one or two things. I took multiple different ingredients, every single one proven by multiple research studies in science and medicine to grow hair, and put all of them in one bottle, in one formula. Why would you just use one thing? Why not use 2, 3, 4 different things, all to grow hair?
Wow.
Right. And I put it all into my H.A.R.E formula and started using it to grow hair like crazy. And I've grown hair on 70-year-old men.
First, you started by actually taking this prescription that was for treating prostate cancer.
Prostate hypertrophy. Prostate hypertrophy.
Thank you so much. And feel free to correct me because I want to make sure I'm getting this right. And so you started to see hair growth there.
Yes.
And then once you started to see another FDA drug approved, you didn't use it there, but are you using these other drugs to come up with your formula? That's what I wanted to ask.
Yes. See, doctors are allowed to use medications that are FDA approved for whatever disease they deem fit. This is legally allowed and always has been.
Thank you.
Right. And so I saw these medications that are FDA approved that had other effects that were of benefit to patients. So I started using them for the other benefits. The other benefits being hair regrowth. Right. And now my H.A.R.E formula has gone through many, many different permutations. I actually tried minoxidil, 7%, not the junky 5% that's available by prescription and then over the counter, but it still was worthless. And I stopped. I just said, forget it. Minoxidil, just forget it. It's just worthless.
But a lot of people are buying this
because they don't have access to anything better.
Okay.
They don't have access to anything better. And I tried it, and it was worthless, and I just stopped using it completely in any of my formulations because it just doesn't work that well. It's just a waste of time and money. And but I started using various ingredients that actually did work in my H.A.R.E formula. The prostaglandin modulator, which is used in Latisse, and melatonin, believe it or not. Topical melatonin has been shown in multiple animal and human studies. One which was all ladies, and it grew hair like crazy topically.
That's over the counter.
Yeah, yes, but topically it grows hair like crazy. So I put that into my formula, and it works great. I used a JAK inhibitor, which is it's an immune modulator, and I use that.
And I know some people who have started taking that, and it's really
Correct.
helped grow their hair.
And I started using it back in 2009, and it just got FDA approved a few years ago.
Know.
This JAK inhibitor, again, a decade plus ahead of the curve. Right. So my H.A.R.E formula is without a doubt unparalleled in the world, honestly. It is the only one that has multiple proven by multiple studies ingredients that actually help hair regrow. Because the reason you lose your hair is because your hairs go into rest phase and then they stay in rest phase. Well, if enough hairs go into rest phase and stay there, that area balds. That area has no more hair in it, it looks balding. If you can stimulate those follicles to go back in the growth phase, you've got hair regrowth. If those follicles stay in rest phase long enough, they'll die. And then nothing, I'm not God, nothing can bring those follicles.
Some of our viewers right about now is probably wondering what you've done.
Nothing can bring those follicles back to life.
Okay.
So the sooner you act on your hair loss, the better. And I'll even give you a time frame.
Yes.
A decade.
Oh, a decade.
You have 10 years, really, to act on your hair loss. If you go more than 10 years, you're really playing craps. You're playing a gambling game. You want to jump on your hair loss as soon as possible while those follicles are dormant but still viable, still alive. Then you can stimulate them to grow again. And there's no question, not 100%, again, I mean, I'm not God, not 100%, but about 67 to 72% of men, I can give them a very, very great regrowth rate on their hair. And about 90% of ladies, I can give them regrowth rate on their hair. I used to do hair transplants, and I used to get fantastic results. Fantastic results. FUE, follicular unit extraction. One hair follicle at a time. It was beautiful. Beautiful, natural looking. But then I started getting patients that were coming to me that had done 2, 3, 4 transplants, and I realized, God, you know, how many transplants are you going to do in a lifetime? And I realized a transplant is really just a Band-Aid. It's not really attacking, if you pardon the pun, the root of the problem.
And so at that point, then we talk about the root of the problem, because what we're doing right now is we're educating our audience.
Yes.
So the root of the problem is that you have those hair follicles that have become dormant. And that's when you want to find a solution before it becomes
Before
dead.
they die, you want to stimulate them back to regrow. You want to stimulate those follicles back to regrow. And we can do that for the majority of people. Not everyone, but the majority of people, we can get those follicles back to life, back to regrow.
Well, and right now, I mean, this is a billion-dollar business. I mean,
which is great. And I want success, but mostly I love seeing my happy patients. You can't, especially the ladies. I mean, everybody thinks this is a male problem, but my God. 30-40% of my patients are ladies. And you know, men can always get away with some balding, but ladies, it is a horrible situation for ladies when they are thinning, when their hair is thinning. It is a terrible cosmetic situation for ladies when their hair is thinning. And when I can give them back their hair, you think I've given them the world. It's an
act of service for you.
It's such a wonderful feeling in your heart when they're coming in just loving thick hair again.
You know, this is a perfect way to end our first segment. When we come back, I want you just to give us advice of how, your advice to people who come into you and talk to you about wanting to try your formula. And we've already talked about the end part of it. But then two, there is something else that you are doing that's changing how we approach the cosmetic industry. You're doing something that's on the forefront, and I want our audience to learn about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Come back to hear more from Dr. Robert.
Our natural world needs us now. Together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. Learn more at nature.org.
Welcome back. Dr. Robert, that was such an informative first segment. I mean, you taught us what we should look for when we encounter hair loss, but you also showed us it's personal for you because it's almost like an act of service to help others, right?
Yes.
And so with that being said, I mean, we have wonderful physicians out there. What sets you apart from all the other physicians that have tried to give their patients this treatment?
Well, you know, boy, I hope I don't get into trouble for this.
Oh, you won't. You're so positive.
here's what I've discovered from personal experience as a patient
As a patient.
and professional experience as a physician,
Okay.
working in multiple fields.
Yes.
Most of your doctors, 98%, are good doctors. They're textbook doctors. But there's only that 2%, maybe if you're lucky, 5%, that are the gurus on the mountain, that are the movers and the shakers, that are the innovators, that are the ones that actually come up with new innovative treatments and technologies. That's why I've never been a textbook doctor. The textbook, by definition, is 10, 20 years old. It's old school. I've never been a textbook doctor. I've always wanted the cutting edge, innovative technology. I want tomorrow's treatment today, because today's treatment is already outdated. I've seen today's treatment fail me as a patient. I've had to find tomorrow's treatment to cure myself many, many years ago that took my entire life down a whole different path. And so I learned that the hard way. And so I know that this is what my patients need, because that's what I needed as a patient. And so I know this is what I have to bring for my patients, is the innovative, cutting edge technology. Because the textbook technology is old. It's not what's going to serve them well. You know, sure, you have a sore throat, fine, take some penicillin, that's fine, but for those really difficult issues, you don't want the textbook old school technology. You want tomorrow's technology now. That's what you want.
And how do you actually find tomorrow's technology today in what we consider the most important parts of cosmetic surgery? I mean, liposuction, enhancements. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, I'm constantly on the prowl. I'm constantly traveling across the country. I'm constantly traveling around the world. I'm on the board of the California Academy of Cosmetic Surgery. I'm on the faculty of the American Academy of Cosmetic Surgery. I've written textbooks that doctors use to, know how to treat vascular diseases. I mean, I'm constantly looking to see what's coming out there, and I never think inside the box. I'm always thinking outside of the box.
I love what you're doing. So it's called Quantum RF. What does that mean? I mean, tell our audience what that means, because we're talking about being innovative,
right,
and how you find a different way,
right,
to find a solution to the problem.
Okay, I never liked liposuction, and I never did liposuction years ago.
Really?
Yes. About a little bit over 20 years ago, the smart lipo laser got FDA approved. And that's when my ears perked up, because I thought, ooh, this is a very interesting technology. And that's when I got into the field of body contouring.
Okay.
But I didn't get into traditional liposuction because I didn't like it. I thought this is kind of brutish, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You get in there with this giant cannon and you're tearing up tissues and general anesthesia and perforating organ.
That's like a surgery.
It didn't appeal to me. Yeah. It's something I wouldn't do on myself, so I would never want to do it on my patient. If I'm not want to do it on me, it's not good enough for my patients. But when the laser came out, it piqued my curiosity. So when I got into body contouring around 2006, 2007, I created this thing called UltraSculpt, which took all of the advanced techniques and concepts of the past 25 years up until 2007, and the cutting edge technologies that had come out, and I created an evolved, modified form of liposuction. No general anesthesia, all local anesthesia, not big giant cannons, small tiny little cannulas, smaller than coffee stirrers. And using energy devices like the smart lipo laser to smooth everything out, to tighten skin, cauterize everything, speed up the healing process. So what happened is my patients were back to work in 24 to 48 hours. Most of them didn't take narcotics beyond one night. and the very natural looking organic results. So that was fantastic. And that was Ultrasculpt. Look, liposuction came out in 1974. It's 50 years old. I actually just lectured on this in San Diego, and I said to this huge room full of physicians, stop doing traditional liposuction. It's a dinosaur. This is the age of smartphones and smart watches, right? You're not driving a car that's 50 years old. You're not wearing clothes that's 50 years old. Why are you doing a procedure, a surgery that's 50 years old? It's time to modernize, you know? Klein came up with the idea of local anesthesia in the 80s. Why are you doing stuff from the 70s, right? I mean, you need to modernize.
So I'm seeing the big picture here.
Right. So Ultrasculpt was fantastic, and my patients loved it because they had a safer result. In nearly 10,000 patients, I didn't have one single incident. No bleeding, nothing in nearly 10,000 patients. So the proof is in the pudding. Everybody recovers in 24 to 48 hours. Incredible natural looking results. So far better than traditional liposuction.
Natural looking results, because that's the big thing that I think of.
Right.
Because when you see that, you can tell.
Yes. What I loved was when my patients were coming back to me and telling me their own mother couldn't tell that they had done anything. That's when I was like, this is great.
Oh, wow.
Then I knew I had succeeded.
Yes.
And what a way to touch, I mean, it's an honor.
Yes.
What a way to touch patients' lives so intimately. I remember one lady, I walked into the room, she was standing there stark naked. I'm doing her follow-up, her 1 week follow-up. In a week, this is how fantastically elated she was with the results. She's circling around, dancing in the room naked, so happy with her results, and she's telling me that she and her husband now are having more sex. How do you get to touch someone's life so intimately? I mean, I'm honored to be, who gets to do that for a stranger? That's what it means to be a physician, and that's to me, that's an honor. To be able to do that for someone.
And it's worth the innovation that it takes.
Absolutely.
So you have so many patients, and you have these patients coming back to you with these positive results. How do you change the entire industry to see that this innovation can work?
You have to lecture. You have to lecture, and you have to try to change the minds of your fellow physicians one mind at a time, one mind at a time. There are still lots of doctors out there doing lipo under general anesthesia. Why? It's not, if you don't have to have general anesthesia and you can do something on the local, why would you ever do it on a general? It's not for the sake of the patient, it's for the sake of the doctor, because he wants to do 4 or 5 of these a day. You know, you're servicing yourself, you're not servicing that patient. I do 1 case, maybe 2 a day. So, you know, I'm not servicing myself, I'm servicing that patient. I'm making sure it's safe for them, because local anesthesia is safer. It may take me longer, but it's better for the patient.
I see.
But Ultrasculpt is about to give way to something far better, and you mentioned it with Quantum RF.
Yes.
So remember I said cutting edge technology?
Yes.
Quantum RF just came out last year. Nobody even knows about this yet. I'm holding training classes in my office every week now to train doctors on how to do it. Nobody knows how to do this. So Quantum RF now, I've invented an entire service called Easy Sculpt around Quantum RF.
Okay, explain that to us.
Okay, so it is now essentially lipo without lipo. What it is you don't need blood tests, just local anesthesia. You can drive yourself to the office and drive yourself home, and you're back to the gym the next day. There's 0 downtime. 0, not 24, 48 hours. 0. Yeah, it's incredible.
No, it sounds too good to be true.
It is a single wand like this that goes under the skin. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and it melts the fat and tightens the skin all at once. To be honest with you, when I first started doing it, it was so fast and easy and quick, I had to stay my hand. I felt like I wasn't giving the patient the value for what, I was like, that's it. I feel like I need to do more for the patient. I had to stop myself. But the results were unreal. They would come back a week later, incredible. Arms reduced half an inch to an inch within a week. Abs reduced 1 to 2 inches within a week. Natural looking, tight skin. It was incredible. In about a year or so, this is all you're going to hear about. This is all you're going to hear about. Why not? I mean, now it's not for everyone. If you've got a lot of fat, you still need to do the lipo part.
Yes.
But if you don't have a lot of fat, if all you need is just a little bit of reduction and some skin tightening, Easy Sculpt with Quantum RF is it. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. 0 to 1, 2 out of 10 discomfort. I tell patients to take some Tylenol or ibuprofen. Nobody does. Nobody does. And I have this thing called the Setari lift, which is like a non-surgical lift that I do, like a neck lift and a gel lift, without surgery. And I can take about 5 to 8 years off your face without a facelift or a neck lift. And I was using other devices. I'm going to start using Quantum RF as the base. Why not? It's incredible. You know, like neck lift and jowl lift, using this with some other things like fractional CO2 for like sun damage and stuff, without doing any surgery. Now you can practically rejuvenate your whole face now within a matter of an hour.
That is a perfect.
It's unbelievable.
Perfect way to end our conversation. But before we end our conversation, let our audience know they want to hear more about this, because you have educated us in the last half hour. So how can our audience get more education from you out there, because you're out there?
Well, I talk about a lot of this stuff on my social media and on YouTube and Instagram. And I do this because not only just to educate my patients, again, there are a lot of people out there who, they may never come to me because they live in Texas or Florida. That's okay. I want them to be educated, because that way they can go do the right thing in their local area. I want them to do the right thing wherever they are. I don't want them to get caught doing the wrong thing and, God forbid, hurt themselves. Better they should get the absolute best technology for them. Let them learn.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing to advance the cosmetic field.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on Everybody with Angela Williamson. Viewers like you make this show possible. Join us on social media to continue this conversation. Good night and stay well.